Good evening, everybody, and welcome to a special Inside the Issues edition of Tucker Carlson Tonight. I'm Tammy Bruce, filling in for Tucker this evening. But do not worry, you're still going to see plenty of Tucker tonight as he confronts issues from big tech's domination of American life to China's role in the heroin epidemic. But first, the showdown at the border continues. For weeks, media outlets explain that the migrant caravan was a hoax designed to boost GOP midterm turnout.
They're telling you the existential threat to America is a bunch of poor refugees 1,000 miles away.
This group of folks, we don't even know where they are. They're way down there.
They've been running on an imaginary caravan.
This stupid caravan. You know, it's a lie that this caravan is a problem of that magnitude.
Right. Programming on the caravan was propaganda.
But now that supposedly made-up caravan has indeed appeared. And the government of Tijuana is begging for help and is calling it a humanitarian crisis. President Trump's own efforts to secure the border are running into obstacles. The president recently blasted the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals for blocking his attempted alterations to American asylum policy.
It's a terrible thing when judges take over your protective services, when they tell you how to protect your border. It's a disgrace. Essentially, they're legislating. They're saying what to do. Some judge sitting in some location very far away is telling our incredible military and law enforcement what to do, and it's not right. I know that Chief Justice Roberts, John Roberts, has been speaking a little bit about it, and I think and I have a lot of respect for him. I like him and I respect him, but I think we have to use some common sense. This Ninth Circuit, everybody knows it. It's totally out of control.
All righty. Well, President Trump is also warning that he may have to shut down the entire U.S.-Mexico border.
If we find that it's uncontrollable, Josh, if we find that it gets to a level where we are going to lose control or where people are going to start getting hurt, we will close entry into the country for a period of time until we can get it under control.
The entire border?
The whole border. I mean, the whole border.
All righty. Well, Chris Hahn is a progressive radio host and former aide to Senator Chuck Schumer. He joins us now. Hey, how you doing, dear?
I'm doing good. Happy Thanksgiving, Tammy.
Same to you. Same to you. So look, obviously, we both have very divergent opinions here on what was going on there. But you'd have to admit, I think, that the mayor of Tijuana, this is a town, by the way, that has dealt with immigration a great deal, including with Haitians, who they had said, got jobs there and assimilated very easily. But they're concerned about the violence, and they consider it a humanitarian crisis. Clearly, that's happening in Mexico. What do you say to the mayor of Tijuana when it comes to his attitude? Is he being racist about this, or is this a real genuine problem?
Well, no, he hit the nail on the head. It's a humanitarian crisis, is what I've been saying and other progressives have been saying for the last 3 months. The president has been painting it as an existential threat to our sovereignty as the United States, as if we were being invaded by a foreign country. And if I was a member of the Border Patrol, I would be insulted that the president of the United States did not think that I was capable of doing my job of protecting the border. They've faced these kinds of caravans since the 90s, and this is not new. The president exploited this humanitarian crisis, which it is, for political gain. And I think sometimes he believes his own talking points when he talks about this stuff. And the judge in the Ninth Circuit that he was alluding to, he wasn't making up the law. The president was trying to take a pen to a law that Congress passed and a former president signed. Well, and presidents are not allowed to do that. The judge is just enforcing the law.
There's already a disagreement on that, of course. The president they're going to appeal. He'll certainly prevail here. But in fact, we haven't seen this kind of caravan dynamic. And what we saw, of course, at the Mexico-Guatemala border, Chris, is very indicative of the difference here. The complaint with Tijuana is the violence here, the kind of the nature of what's been going on with this particular caravan. And also, the caravans have not experienced a real commitment at the American border to stop them. So this is inherently different. There are thousands more individuals involved. Now, many have taken Mexico up on their ability to get jobs and to have some health care and to settle in, which is great news. But at this point, you're looking at individuals from, we know there's at least 500 criminals. We know that we've got to be able to at least assess them properly in getting in here. What do you think they should just be allowed to come in, or do you think that there should be an orderly framework here?
I think there should be an orderly framework here. And from what I understand, the people in this caravan are going to seek asylum, which is legally the way you can come here. In one of the ways you can come here legally. So I don't think they're climbing the wall. I don't think we needed to send troops to southern
they're
Texas
climbing the wall right
when
there.
the caravan's actually coming to Tijuana.
They are climbing the wall, as a matter of fact. But let's move on. We do know, yeah. So. They're climbing the fences that exist now, and of course the president is going to make this difficult because we do have to have some order there. And I'm glad you agree that we do have to have some order. Now, look, another thing. I know you want to talk about this,
Chris. Nobody thinks people should be able to climb. Yeah. Nobody should think people should climb the fence. Yeah. No, that's not what we want.
All right. Well, they're also not going to rush, barriers. At any rate, Hillary Clinton ran on continuing high immigration into the U.S., but in an interview with The Guardian, I'm sure you've seen, Hillary suggested it's time for Europe to curb immigration in order to stop the rise of right-wing political parties. She said, quote, I think Europe needs to get a handle on migration because that is what lit the flame. I think it is fair to say Europe has done its part and must send a very clear message. We are not going to be able to continue to provide refuge and support because if we don't deal with the migration issue, it will continue to roil the body politic. Chris, how is this not just transactional politics and throwing immigrants under the bus?
Yeah, I mean, Hillary missed the point there. What's happening in Europe right now is far-right parties are scapegoating these immigrants because they can't figure out a way to deal with the stagnant economy that has hit most of Europe, especially people who are low-skilled workers in Europe. And I think that former Secretary Hillary Clinton missed the point completely there, where she is giving aid and comfort to that thought that far-right parties are expressing in Europe. So I completely disagree with her.
But Chris, many people,
I think it is transactional and it's bad.
But this is the issue, is that many people are shocked at this. This is all she's done. She has been a transactional politician from the beginning. There's no other way that you can explain the Defense of Marriage Act and Don't Ask, Don't Tell, the two worst cases of violating gay American civil rights in the history of this country, when you actually, in the 20th century, decide to shred them because it was transactional. It was going to get them something. Both the Clintons operate this way. This is no different. And this is why she lost in part, because she stands for nothing. The Democrats stand really for nothing at this stage.
Here's the thing, though, Tammy. She's just making a speech and blowing hot air. The president of the United States, when he talks about these things, he's the president of the United States, and his words need to be taken very seriously. I don't like what she said, but I also don't like what's being said by some far-right politicians who hold office in this country who need to tamper down their talk about immigration. Immigration made this country great, and it will continue to make this country great.
It's interesting because that far-right idea is included, apparently, for President Trump getting a DACA deal for Congress, which, of course, the Democrats declined. So are those the kind of far-right ideas that you've got, or historically low unemployment for every group in the country?
Tammy, the president of the United States was offered DACA for the wall. He accepted it until the far-right politicians in the Senate, Mitch McConnell especially, pushed back against it. And General Kelly had to call Chuck Schumer and tell him that the deal was off.
Let's be clear. I think that this president will
make a deal, DACA for the wall, before this.
Chris, this audience is going to laugh at the idea of Mitch McConnell being a far-right politician. That's very funny. This is the bureaucracy. We both know it well. And it is all transactional. That's what both Democrats and Republicans are reacting to. You had some interesting people elected during the midterms because they're tired of the transactional relationship. I think Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez would suggest that she's unusual and interesting. Chris, thanks for joining us.
I think that there's a lot of interesting people with great voices. I can't wait to see them grow.
Thank you, Chris. Well, it'll be interesting.